Across Europe, heating homes without natural gas isn't a future idea. It's already happening. Entire towns are being heated by networks under the street. Some homes are running on hydrogen. Others are still using gas, but not the kind we're used to. And while the UK is still debating what comes next, other countries are already building it. So in this video, we're not looking at theory, we're looking at real systems in action: hydrogen, district heatings and biomethane, and how they work, where they work, and whether any of them could realistically replace gas in the UK. Because the big question isn't can we heat homes differently, it's which of these actually works at scale. Hydrogen is often presented as the closest replacement for natural gas. The idea is simple. Instead of methane flowing through the pipes, you use hydrogen. You keep the concept of a boiler, radiators, hot water, and from the homeowner's point of view, very little changes. And in places like Lochem in the Netherlands, that's already been tested. Homes were converted to run on 100% hydrogen with new boilers, upgraded meters, and additional safety systems. Technically it works. Hydrogen burns cleanly, producing water vapour instead of carbon dioxide. But the challenge isn't inside the home, it's everything behind it. Hydrogen has to be produced usually by splitting water using electricity. That process uses a lot of energy. And then it has to be compressed, stored and transported. And because hydrogen carries less energy per unit than natural gas, you need more of it to deliver the same amount of heat. In the UK, projects like H100 in Scotland are now building entirely new hydrogen networks to test this properly. So the real question isn't whether hydrogen works, it's whether it's worth rebuilding the entire gas system to support it. While hydrogen tries to preserve the way we heat homes, district heating takes a completely different approach. Instead of every home having its own boiler, heat is generated centrally and distributed through insulated pipes to multiple buildings. Inside the home, there's no boiler at all, just a heat interface unit that transfers heat into the radiators and hot water system. And this isn't new. In Denmark, most homes are connected to district heating. In cities like Vienna, it's been running for decades. The real strength of this system is flexibility. The heat source can change over time, from gas to biomass, from waste heat to large-scale heat pumps, without altering anything inside the home. It's a future-proof system. And because it operates at scale, it can be highly efficient, especially when it captures heat that would otherwise be wasted from power stations, industrial processes, or even transport systems. But the trade-off is infrastructure. You need pipework networks under streets, energy centres and long-term planning. It works best in dense urban areas where lots of homes can be connected efficiently. Retrofitting into existing towns is a huge challenge. It's disruptive, expensive and slow. So while district heating is one of the most proven solutions we have, it depends heavily on where you are. Then there's biomethane, which takes a very different approach again. Instead of replacing the gas system, it keeps it but changes the fuel. Biomethane is produced by breaking down organic material, things like food waste, agricultural waste, or sewage, in a process called an anaerobic digestion. And the result is a gas that's chemically very similar to natural gas, and crucially, it can be injected directly into the existing gas grid. That means homes don't need new boilers, new radiators, or even new pipework. From the user's point of view, nothing changes at all. And this is already happening in the UK. Biomethane is being fed into the grid today, contributing a small but growing share of the gas supply. On paper, it's an elegant solution. It uses waste, it works with existing infrastructure, and it avoids the need for major changes inside homes. But there's a limit. The amount of biomethane we can produce is constrained by the amount of available waste. Even with the large-scale rollout, it's unlikely to fully replace natural gas on its own. There are also questions around land use, feedstock supply, and whether resources are better used elsewhere. So while biomethane fits neatly into the current system, it's probably not a complete solution, but it could play an important role as part of a wider mix. And then there are systems that don't get much attention at all. In London, waste heat from the underground is already being used to warm homes. Data centres, which generate huge amounts of heat, are starting to feed into local heating networks. And if you think about AI, that will be massive computer servers chucking out heat that can usefully be used in our homes. In parts of Europe, flooded mines are being used as underground heat stores. And in some cases, heat is captured in the summer and stored underground for use in the winter. Now, these aren't one-size-fits-all solutions, but they show something important, that heat is all around us, and increasingly the challenge is how to capture and use it effectively. So what replaces gas? The answer is probably not one thing. Hydrogen offers familiarity but comes with major infrastructure and efficiency challenges. District heating works at scale, but only where the systems exist or can be built. Biomethane fits into what we already have, but can't supply everything on its own. And alongside all of that, there are similar local solutions quietly doing their part. What's clear is that the transition is already underway, just not in a single unified direction. And for the UK, the challenge isn't choosing the perfect solution, it never has been. It's deciding how these pieces fit together in a way that actually works, for real homes at real scale.